things going on. Ruben Amorim's come in, and the reason he's making so many changes, and people say, oh, why is he dropping players? He's not dropping players. He's rotating. He doesn't want a lot of injuries because they play every 3-4 days. And the other thing is, he's having a free hit, and having a look at the whole squad and saying, who's going to be with me in the next year or so? That's big. And of course, and I think what he's doing also now is, okay, who's got the character? This was a big night, by the way. Plzen haven't lost at home for 2 years. Barcelona is the last time, 2 years ago, that they've lost. And this was a huge win. 1-0 down, come back 2-1.
It feels like a big win for Amorim as well. Back-to-back defeats, a little bit of pressure is just starting to mount with the new man coming in. Obviously, Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, those defeats. But it just feels like if they'd gone 3 defeats in a row, there would have been a lot of people talking. This may well quell those whispers, do you think?
Well, I think the biggest thing about this is they were 1-0 down, didn't play too great first half, but second half you started to see what Ruben Amorim's trying to implement in his team. Quick, fast attacks. When you lose the ball, pressure. Get the ball back as soon as possible. Mount, Garnacho coming on, Hojlund coming on straight away. He had 2 chances in the first 5-6 minutes, Hojlund, because of pressure, hunting the ball back. And rewind back to Bodo Glimt game, they got the goals from that as well. So he's starting to show and put to his players what he wants from a team. But much, much better. I tell you what, there's never a dull moment for Manchester United. But it's going to be ups and downs. You talk about this storm. It was a storm first half and a storm the other way in a positive way going in the second half. And they win the game 2-1. But, you know, much better second half.
Does it feel a little bit like Jurgen Klopp's first part season at Liverpool, where they're in the Europa League, that they got to the final, that Manchester United should be one of the stronger teams in this competition? There is the opportunity with 2-legged games, with European nights at Old Trafford for him to really build that connection, but also get pretty close to winning a trophy.
Yeah.
If not win it.
I mean, it was interesting yesterday. Ruben Amorim got asked, what's your priority? Because Bruno Fernandes says winning the Europa League is the priority and should be a priority. He said, no. It's the Premier League. That's the priority. Get into Europe, get into Champions League, yes. But I tell you what, Manchester United have got a big chance to win a trophy, and it is this competition.
And actually, you would argue with where they are in the Premier League and who else is above them, that actually winning the Europa League might be their easiest way into the Champions League for next season. And
that was the case made to him. But he's still very strong that, no, I want to win the Premier League, or I want to get in the Champions League by getting as high up at the table as much as possible. But they've got a long way. They've got a lot of work. They could have lost this game tonight, even though with their chances, and they deserve to win. The other way, they were a little bit leaky, chances conceded. But I tell you, it does show the changes. The changes are, it's a much more energetic Manchester United. It's a much more ruthless Manchester United. I think they're creating more chances. And, you know, like we see tonight, they're actually taking them as well. They managed to scrape through.
We've got a pretty big game here on Sky Sports on Sunday, the Manchester derby, Rob, with City, just the 1 win in 10. United with a confidence-boosting win tonight. How do you see that one going?
Well, Manchester City are the most disorganised I've ever seen them. But this is a great team. And I always say this, Manchester City team that we've seen over the last few years is the best Premier League team we've ever seen under Guardiola. And now, listen, it's only 10 games. It just shows the level and the heights and how good they've been, that 10 games is pure panic for everyone because it just shows the level. But I tell you what, Manchester United won't get a better chance to beat Manchester City than this week. Because right now, confidence is not at the highest for Manchester City. And Manchester United coming away from this win and with the new manager trying to implement his way, Manchester United won't get a better chance than this. If they come away losing on Sunday, Manchester United got to be so upset. You've got to be so upset because you won't get a better chance.
They won. However, Hojlund did not take the matchday ball home. But let's hear from what their coach had to say afterwards. Here's Ruben Amorim in the post.
Rasmus Hojlund and Ahmad were unhappy with each other at the final whistle for not having passed to each other in 2 late breaks. Were you aware of that?
Yes, and for me it's perfect. we need to feel something. In this moment, we need to feel something. If we need to fight each other, it's like a family. For me, it's a very, very good sign. We need to feel something, and that is important.
It shows that the players care.
After that is clear. When you don't care, you don't do nothing. When you care, you fight with your brother, with your mother, with your father. So for me, me too. For me, it's a very good sign.
Let's now welcome in Frank Leboeuf and Jan Agerfiotov to talk more about what we saw. We'll get into the game in a moment, but let's react to what we just heard from Ruben Amorim there. And let me start with you, Frank. Just him saying it's a good sign that we see this passion between the two players fighting, not getting the ball passed to them.
I think it's a very good sign. I think that it's as soon as let's say that if there is a communication, there is a will of understanding between each other. I think yes, Diallo should have given the ball to Hojlund, but Hojlund could have given the ball a minute after to Anthony, and he didn't. And Anthony didn't say anything. That's maybe the difference of somebody completely committed, 100% committed, Hojlund in that case, and Anthony not really into it. I love what Hojlund does. I love the fact that he comes on and works hard. Yeah, he can be a little bit clumsy, but you can feel that the guy is fighting. He's fighting with his assets and his weaknesses, but he does that. And he's not happy not scoring a third goal. I love that. It's sad that he does on Diallo, which is maybe the most talented player so far for Manchester United, and lately was showed the way to play football in a good way. So it's just sad for that. But otherwise, I'm 100% with Hojlund. You have to communicate. You have to show your anger and to share it with your teammates.
Jan, you're nodding along there. The presence of Hojlund proved to be the difference today for United.
Yes, and I think we have to. The background here is a bit that Frank was talking about it. Frank, I think that that Hojlund has never been accepted as the big number 9 at Manchester United, and he has to take that place. He has to be present. Sometimes they haven't played him. This start today, and maybe today was just coincidence that happened today. But I think that Hojlund should demand more. He should demand this place for him. Sometimes it never crossed to him, for example. Number 9 will live and die by crosses. In terms of what Amorim said about Hojlund and Diallo, I like that, because the problem with Manchester United, they have had this I don't careism. They have had that for a long time now. And if suddenly there is life, please, Manchester United fans will be happy. They should be angry at each other. They should demand things for each other. And I think all players will sign for saying that the teams that we've been a part of that is functioning is when players demand that from each other. A coach can demand it, but you have to demand it from your teammate.
Demanding from the striker.
Well, yes, and I think in the context of what you see from the rest of the players in the attacking core group for Manchester United, say, for example, Marcus Rashford, then that is the picture of the disease that Jan just mentioned there, idoncarism, right? Is that what he referred to?
Idoncarism, yeah.
Idoncarism, yes. Well, he is the picture of that. He is the picture of a guy whose body language doesn't tell you, I am fully into this, I am fully engaged, I am fully committed to what we're trying to do as a club and what I'm trying to do as an individual. And so then in comes Rasmus Hojlund, and at the very least, he's throwing his body around. At the very least, he's willing to run in behind, he's willing to post up, he's fighting with defender, he's fighting with Diallo. At the very least, you see a change in attitude. And I think this is something that is needed not only in the case of Rasmus Hojlund or the attacking core group of players of Manchester United, but across the board from Manchester United. There has to be a change of attitude. And so what I like, beyond the fact that he's yelling or screaming at Hojlund Diallo, is that he's actually coming off the bench and making a difference, a productive difference in scoring important goals. That, to me, is far more important as to whether he gets his arms up or not to Diallo. Now, yeah, as a striker, you're on 2 goals, you feel hot, you feel good, you feel like every ball that you touch is about to go into the back of the net, then of course you want the ball played to you all the time, and of course the hands will go up in the air. I think we would be having a different discussion if this game had ended 2-2 or it had ended 3-2 for Viktoria Plzen and all we see is from Rasmus Hojlund getting his arms up. That's that's what winning the game does for you. That this feels like it's a good thing instead of, oh my goodness, all they're doing is pointing the finger at each other. Now, because they've won the match, and Amorim says, yes, we need this passion, and yes, we won, and yes, this is growth, and yes, this is evolution, now then it feels like we're heading in the right direction. What I like from Hojlund is the impact of the bench in production of goals, in production in terms of his style of play, and the attitude with which he played the game.
The fact is sometimes that it's easy for old school players like myself and in our generations to think this playing from the back. Fair enough, the playing from the back will be here to stay. But it's interesting to see that in the old days, we said that the player who didn't understand the game was in goal. I'm not saying that is today in 2024. I'm just saying what it used to be. The interesting thing now, when you're going to play out from the back, then the goalkeeper, who are not supposed to be the playmaker of the team, have the most touches. And not even, make it even worse, he is doing it in a region, if you're doing a mistake, like Onana did there, as we see every weekend in the Bundesliga or in the Premier League, this is a failure, it's a goal against. And that's why any modern manager can explain to me, play out from the back is good because we're going to do this. That's fair enough. You can convince me maybe, but don't convince me that when the player who has the less ability to read the game, and I know there are exceptions, sorry goalkeepers, but he is the guy who's going to have the ball all the time. That I will never understand.
Not only is this a physical error in terms of not being able to complete the pass, more importantly, it's a mental error in reading the game. Even if he completes the pass to Matthias de Ligt, de Ligt's got 3 guys around him facing his own goal. So what else is de Ligt going to do with the ball? The ball's going to come back to Onana, and Onana's going to hit it long. Because guess what? The pressure is eating you alive. There's another shot in this particular play in which Casemiro, who can see more of the field and has more wherewithal in terms of where this ball should go, he is pointing to Onana out wide, man! Hit it out wide! Over there! Over to the other side! No, not here! There! And I can imagine a player like Casemiro who no longer can move the way that he once did, but can still see the game. When he sees these things developing, you see these things developing. You see this, you smell it. We're in trouble, and it's getting worse. And now, to Jan's point, the decision in a moment of trouble is now down to the guy who's least equipped to be making this sort of decision. But Onana should be making a better decision because he's able to see the whole field. Everything is in front of him. You know who's not able to see the whole field? Matthias de Ligt. It's not only a physical mistake, more importantly, it's a mental mistake.
Go ahead, Jan.
No, I'm just saying that this is quite interesting discussion because, again, this is the modern game, but there's a lot of things that you can say about the modern game. But I think that one of the reasons by Manchester United that you see mistakes like this is that you don't know. I don't think that we don't see how Manchester United want to play under Ten Hag. Amorim, we have to give him, he has just been there for 5 minutes, so we can't see that either, but that's fair enough. But I think this confused the players, and it's confused a goalkeeper, because it's Casemiro was the playmaker, put gloves on him, that he have to stand at the back. So this is decision making, as Al is saying, it's terrible to watch. And there is a Russell Martin, he will say, yeah, do it anyway. Hello, championship. Fair enough. That is one way. But I think Manchester United want to do it differently, but the players are confused now, and most confused at the moment is Onana.
As for Manchester United, it's their 3rd win in 6, Frank, since Amorim took over. Have you got any other takeaways from what you saw tonight?
No, especially the first half. I mean, I see where he wants to go, but I also see that it's difficult with the personnel that he has in. And when I see the first half, I say, oh my God, that's not Manchester United anymore. That's nothing but Manchester United, the club I used to play against, and with all the legends and the threat that it can create on the field. That's nothing but a big club. The name is still big, but the team is not anymore. And the second half is okay, it's a little bit better, because one player comes on and shows the way to fight. but otherwise, he's too slow. Some people are hiding. I'm very concerned about Marcus Rashford. The French commentators say, well, I think Rashford is so bad that he's going to live in the winter market. But where?
Yeah.
How? Nobody wants to buy a player like that. I mean, you have to spend so much money and you have to pay a big wage. Nobody wants to put any wage on Marcus Rashford. And I highly rank him. I saw what he's capable of doing. But mentally, my God, the guy is not there. He's not there anymore. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to play. But nobody wants to hire him. So and you have like 5 or 6 players like that at Manchester United. So I think we had that discussion yesterday with Craig and Ali. Okay, Amorim wants to change stuff, but how? Because nobody, if they want to sell players, nobody wants to hire those players. So they're gonna have a problem. Let's see.
Super sub Rasmus Hojlund's brace secured Manchester United a much-needed 2-1 comeback victory in the Europa League at Viktoria Plzen as Ruben Amorim registered his first away win as head coach. After making a promising start to life as Erik ten Hag's successor, things were thrown off track as the shock exit of sporting director Dan Ashworth compounded back-to-back defeats to Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Amorim was staring down the barrel of a damaging third straight loss early in the second half after ex-Burnley striker Matej Vydra put Plzen ahead after boyhood United fan Pavel Sulk cut out Endre Onanar's poor pass. But Hojlund's introduction off the bench helped spark a turnaround in freezing conditions, with the substitute soon turning home after Hojlund Diallo's effort was blocked. The visitors continued to knock on the door, and 2 minutes from time the Denmark international met a smart Bruno Fernandes free kick with strength, a decent touch and a thumping finish. United's first European victory on the road since March 2023 sees them take a giant step towards the knockout stages as attention turns to Sunday's trip to stumbling Manchester City. Thursday's match was a huge occasion for Plzen, where red and blue light installations were put up around a brewing town that celebrated United's visit with limited edition beers. Fireworks filled the air before the players emerged at the compact 11,700 capacity Dusan Arena, where Onana began nervily, having had a costly wobble against Forest on Saturday night. United's goalkeeper accidentally clattered into Casemiro when meeting a free kick, unconvincingly dealt with a throw-in, and saw a pass blocked during a cumbersome all-round start by the visitors. Marcus Rashford, Diallo and Joshua Zirkzee all wasted dangerous moments before Bruno Fernandes finally forced Victoria's goalkeeper into action. Plzen offered precious little in response, but Sheikh Suari's curler from the edge of the box brought hope before the break, as did a stoppage-time attempt by Vydra. Allowed to gallop forwards from the halfway line, the United skipper hit a 20-yard strike that forced a good low save out of Martin Jedlicka. They proved to be warning shots as United fell behind just 3 minutes into the second half. Onanar's hesitation after collecting a pass back from Lisandro Martinez was sniffed out by Sulk, who intelligently cut out a pass intended for Matthijs de Ligt and squared for Vydra to sweep home. The Dusan Arena erupted as the former Premier League striker was mobbed by teammates. United's rickety display continued after that gut punch, but Sulk so nearly undid his good work as the recently introduced Hojlund met his loose pass and got away a low drive that Jedlicka saved. Mason Mount and Antony followed the Denmark international onto the field as the visitors sought a leveller that arrived in the 62nd minute. A quickly taken free kick caught Plzen out, with play building, Diallo delightfully cutting past his man to get away a strike that was blocked and fell into the path of Hojlund to turn home. Plzen survived a panic penalty box melee as United looked to go ahead, with players' appeals for handball falling on deaf ears during the Red Devils' best period of pressure. Hojlund just failed to reach a tantalizing cross by Fernandes as they pushed, but Victoria immediately went close at the other end as substitute Prince Edu crossed for Vydra to slam narrowly wide. United stepped up as they sought a winner. Victoria's goalkeeper spread himself well to deny Mount in the 77th minute, with Jedlicka denying him against after Alejandro Garnacho and Manuel Ugarte came on. Time was running out, but a clever set-piece provided an 88th minute winner. Fernandes drove a low free kick to Hojlund, who held off his man, took a touch and lashed a low left-footed strike past Plzen's goalkeeper. United had further chances to add gloss but saw out just a second away win in all competitions this season. Hojlund and Diallo had a row after the final whistle, having failed to play each other in when well placed in stoppage time.